Hey everyone, so this is Unit 2, Module 4, Session 1 homework. We're going to be first starting with some some least common multiples, and then we're going to be comparing some fractions. So let's go and get started. This first one, they want the least common multiple, often called the LC, that looks like a C, LCM. And so I always do this, when I'm doing this, I actually start with the bigger number. So I'll kind of do what they did here, 4 and 6. But I'm going to start with 6. And the first multiple of 6 is 6 because, well, 1 times 6 is 6, right? Then the second one is 12. And the third one is 18. I'm going to stop right there because I know that 4 goes into 12. But I'm going to show my work. I'm going to show 4, and then 4 times 2 is 8. And 4 times 3 is 12, and I'm going to circle 12. Okay, and we'll take a couple shortcuts from here on out. So let me use a different color over here. So let's do 3 and 7. I'm going to start with 7. So 7, 14, and then 3 times 7 is 21. Okay, and I just said, so 3 times 7. So that's where I know I'm going to stop. I'm going to show my work for this assignment, but we won't always have to be doing that. So the first multiple of 3 is 3. The second one is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. 18. 21. I'm going to circle 21 on both of them. Okay, if you haven't already started doing this, make sure you're stopping it. You try it yourself, and then you can restart it and check your work with mine. So I'm going to do 5 and 8. Change the color again. And I always start with the bigger number because sometimes it saves me because I know where it's going to end up. Because with 5s, it has to end with a 0 or a 5, right? So 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Times 3 is 24. And I can look on a multiplication chart and go across it too. That could work too. 32. 40, and there's that 0. So I'm gonna put all my numbers all the way to 40. So I'm gonna go 5. It's good practice. I don't know that I wouldn't always do this because I know that it matches up, and it just kind of solidifies our thinking. There's 40, and then 6 and 9. Let's use this gray color. So 6 and 9. I'm going to start with my 9s. I know 9 times 1 is 9. I know 9 times 2 is 18. And I know 6 goes in 18. So I'm going to stop there. 6, 12, 18. Circled 18. Okay? So let's keep going now. Now we're going to use that information. Use the least common multiple to find the equivalent fraction for each pair. Then use the less than or greater than to show which is the bigger fraction. So we're comparing this example, they compared the denominators. Okay, that's where they find the least common multiple of, and then they multiply them by those things. So let's see if I can show all my work for A to see if I can make this make sense. So let's compare first 3 and 8, because those are our denominators. And if I go by 8 times 1, 8 times 2, 16. 3 can't go into 16 because 3 goes into 15. So I'm going to go 8 times 3 is 24. And I already know that's the least common multiple, right? So that's the third one. And then I'll go my 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12. See if I have room. 15, 18, 21, it's going to barely fit on there. 24, I had to squeeze it on there. So now I'm going to change my fractions. So I'm going to change my 8s, 5/8. I know I need the third multiple. Okay, so I'm going to multiply by 3 over 3. That's 15 24ths. And then I'm going to do my thirds, 2/3. And I know it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th multiple. So 8 over 8. They're really close fractions. 8 times 2 is 16, 24. So now they have the same denominator, same size pieces. I know 16 is bigger than 14. So they kind of showed everything. So I know that 15/24 is less than 16/24. So I also know that 5/8, because that matched up, is less than 2/3. All right, you try one, pause it, and then come back to me. Some of us have gotten used to using the size of the pieces, but I want to show it. I want to find out how much bigger it is too. So I'm going to compare 1/6. So we're going to compare 6 and 9s. I know from up here, 6 and 9s met up at 18. Okay, and it was the third multiple of 6 and the second multiple of 9. You could go to 54ths, but I'm going to stop at 18 because it's a little bit smaller. So I'm going to change my 1/6. It was the third multiple. So I'm going to multiply it by 1, but it's actually 3/3. Equals 3/18. And then I'm going to do my 2/9. It was the second multiple of 9, so 2/2 equals 4/18. So I know 3/18 compared to 4/18. 3/18 is smaller, and therefore I know 1/6 is smaller than 2/9. All right, we got one more on here. Let me change the color. I'll go to blue. So 12ths and 8ths. I'm going to make my, 8ths and 12ths. I'm going to just go by 12s first. 12 times 1, 12 times 2. I know 8 goes into 24. So we're going to go 8 is the first multiple, 16 is the third multiple of 8. All right. So pause it because I'm going pretty fast. I'm getting a lot on here pretty quick. So let's to change my 7/12. 7/12. It was the second multiple. So times 2/2. 14/24. And then 5/8. It was the third multiple of 8 to get to 24. 3/3. 15/24. So they're making them all really close, aren't they? So I know it's weird. They're all smaller on this side. 14/24 is smaller than 15/24. Therefore, 7/12 is smaller than 5/8. Bam. Okay. All right, let's keep going. Next page. So Matthew read 2/3 of a book. Greg read 4/5 of the same book. Who read more? And then they want to know how much more. So here's Matthew is 2/3. And Greg is 4/5. So let's first find our multiples. Here's our 3 and here's our 5. If I go with my 5's 5, second multiple is 10. Well, I already know 3 goes into 15. So this one's going to be the third multiple of 5. So that becomes 12/15. Now let's do our 3's. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Fifth multiple of 3. So 5/5 equals 10/15. Let me look at that for a second. It looks pretty accurate. So then I'm going to compare them. So 10/15 is less than 12/15. And they want to know how much more. So it looks like Greg read 2/15 of a book more. I'm going to circle that whole thing. It's going to put a lot of work on there. All right, let's look at the last one. There's a challenge on here too for us. So Carlos had 2 extra sandwiches. They were exactly the same size. This is the weird one, right? Exactly the same size. He gave 7/9 of the first sandwich to his friend Ben, and 4/6 of the second sandwich to his friend Corey. I think they've had to share sandwiches before with this guy. Whose piece is bigger, Corey or Ben? So let's look at this. So 7/9 to Ben. All right, oops, I went too far with that. So 7/9. So here's Ben. 7/9. And then I'm going to change the color for Corey. 4/6 to Corey. Corey is 4/6. I think we've figured out where the 9ths and 6ths meet, but I'll just do it right over here. Let's start with the 9ths. They're blue. 9ths are 9. 6 doesn't go in that. 18. I'm sure that 6 goes in 18. So let's do our 6s. 6 times 2 is 12, and then 18 is the third multiple. So I'll circle this too. So let's change our 9ths. It's the second multiple of 9, so it's 2 over 2 equals 14/18. So Ben got 14/18 of a sandwich. I know it's very strange. And then this is the third multiple of 6, so 3 over 3. 12/18. Poor Corey. I think in our book in class, I think Ben got more. Another different problem. So Corey got more. Excuse me, Corey got less. So Ben, that's right, he's in the right color. Ben is 14/18 is greater than 12/18. Does it say whose piece is bigger? It doesn't say by how much, right? So this is Ben. Oops, I'm going to use blue. Ben. If Carlos ate the remaining pieces of the 2 sandwiches, did he get more or less than Corey? Okay, let's look at this. So of Ben's sandwich, there was 4/18 left. It's a good challenge. I'm going to put that up here a little bit. So Ben's sandwich, there was 4/18, right? Because there was 14 was gone. So that's Ben's. And we're going to add to that. There's 6/18 of Corey's sandwich. When I add that up, I get 10/18. And 10/18, I think did he get more or less than Corey? I think he got less than both of them, right? Because Corey had 12/18 and Ben had 14/18. He got less than both. All right, guys. If some of this doesn't make sense, or maybe I made a mistake in there, bring it in. Let me hear about it, and then we'll make some corrections. But yeah, come in with any questions you have, and make sure that the next time, if you didn't do it this time, make sure you're doing the work and then press and play. All right. Thanks, guys.